Mustang Coaches Show. I'm your host, Kerry Shuck, voice of the Broncos, with the head coach of the Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how are you?
Good to be back on again, as always, with you, Kerry.
And I'm very excited about this week, just because we've got 2 weeks left in the season. But as a spectator watching the game, and I know the coaches have way more influence into the game of what's going on, I thought last week's game against Owasso, a high-octane offense, good defense. I thought the team played really well, just some mistakes and some penalties, which has come to haunt us at some certain games this year.
Well, listen, I will agree 100% with you on that. Our players, our boys, did such a good job of just playing their hearts out. The effort was excellent on Friday night. That was a really good football team that we played. Number 1 ranked team in the state, number 23 in the nation, and our kids fought and battled and gave them everything they wanted all night long. So obviously, when you come out behind, it's tough when you look at that scoreboard and you're not winning at the end. But I really am proud of the effort of our kids. We say every week, and I know people get tired of hearing me say it, but I'll say it when we go 13-0 and win the state championship as well. Scoreboards don't define us. Our character defines us. Our kids played with great attitude. They played with perfect effort on Friday night, and that really shows their character, the growth that we've had this season. There's not any quitting our kids, man, and I love that about them. So I was proud of them on Friday night. Obviously, we were all a little disappointed. We wanted to win that one bad, but we've still got a lot in front of us, and excited about that as well. So we just got to keep getting 10% better each week.
And I think one thing about just, if you're a fan of sports growing up, sometimes you just kind of think, like, if there's a loss, you're like, oh, end of the world, or anything like that. But if you can step back and kind of look at everything, there were so many positives from this game against the number 1 team in the state that you're able to take that to the next 2 weeks, and then getting into the playoffs, it all wraps up, and you just can't think like, okay, that's a loss. You got to look at some things you can do better, but things that you did really good in the game.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what our coaching staff started doing when we got back into the office and put the film up from Friday night. There are always areas that you can get better in, and we're working towards that. And there are also a lot of positives, a lot of really good things that our kids did on Friday night. So I was proud of that. Listen, it's interesting. Rankings don't mean anything in high school football, but there's some merit to them as well, just in terms of where we're at as a program and what people that see a lot of high school football see about us. We were told that our ranking actually went up. We're ranked number 3 right now in the Tulsa World, and then number 5 in the Daily Oklahoman. So the loss did not hurt there. Honestly, just the way that our kids competed and how hard we fought, and even just how close we were with some of the opportunities that we had. That there's a little bit to be said about that as well. Just, I think the state is recognizing the improvements each week in our program, and hopefully that encourages our kids as well. You never know, maybe we'll see those guys again one day.
And one thing that I saw, going back and looking at Owasso being 7-0, they're putting 50 points up on a lot of teams, and 40 points. And there was about a 60-yard touchdown pass in the rain, a really good quarterback on there, a great pass, and then just kind of a misread in the end zone that gives them another 7. But it's 24-10, and you don't have those plays. It's 10-10. I mean, it's just kind of weird.
No question. They certainly had a couple of big chunk plays that helped them out. But listen, our defense played incredibly well all night long, man. I mean, that's a team that was a little bit bigger than us up front, and our kids just stiffened their necks and really played good football and played tough and played hard inside. And our guys made great tackles. Offensively, we moved the football all night. And just little things kept us from being able to finish some of those drives. But we had several great drives, and we were right there. I mean, we really played neck and neck with one of the best teams in the state of Oklahoma, and that just shows you where our program is right now as well. We're right there on the cusp of joining those ranks. So I'm really proud of our kids again. We've still got a lot to prove. We've still got a lot to play for in the course of the next 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds. You can expect us to and our kids to show up to this week and work hard and be a little bit better next Friday than we were a week ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we say it every week. Gosh, the offensive line, because Owasso's defensive line is a tough defensive line.
No question.
And like you said, there was a push. There was almost, I can't remember a negative yard play that just didn't develop, but Harvey Phillips, Devin Martin, and Kari Brown all hit the holes hard.
No question.
And even Hayden Conrad a couple of times saw some spots where he get out.
We used Hayden a couple of times in the run game just to break some tendencies, and he did a really good job as well. But no, Harvey rushed for over 150 yards against that really good Owasso defense, and that says a ton for our guys up front. Our offensive line played played their hearts out, man. I was really proud of that, and we definitely, obviously a loss on the scoreboard is tough. We're not going to celebrate that by any means, but there were a lot of good things and a lot of positives that we can take from that game. And again, if we can just continue to get better in a few areas, we're right there and can play with anybody.
Can you think of some key plays in the game that kind of led to the final outcome, or some of the things that you saw that can be fixed?
Well, for one thing, there was a point in the third quarter. Our defense got in a tough spot. A few penalties that allowed them to extend their offensive drive, them being Owasso, and man, our defense got down there inside of the red zone and really stiffened up and played hard and held them to a field goal. So they went up 17-7, 17-3, mm-hmm. and then our offense got the ball and had an 80-yard drive, and man, everything just seemed to be clicking for us. And when we got that score to or the one possession game, 17-10, I really thought that was going to be a momentum shift, and we were really close to turning that into a better ball game than Owasso had hoped for and maybe even expected. So our defense came back out, and man, we had them to third and long several times on that drive, and then just a few little penalties along the way allowed that drive to be extended and kind of took that momentum away from us right after we sucked it all back to our side after the big touchdown. But there's always 2 or 3 plays that that determine the outcome of a game, but that would be the drive, just the extended drive where we had a few penalties that went against us, that hurt us and allowed them to keep the ball on. We had one possession. The only possession we got in the third quarter was an 80-yard touchdown drive. So that was a big factor and kind of took the momentum back away from us just a little bit on that drive. But no, listen, our kids played hard. Officials call the game, and our job as coaches and players is to not focus on what we can't control. So if there's a call that goes against us, man, we've got to focus on having a great attitude, giving great effort the next play, and our kids did that all night, and our coaches did that. I was really proud of our program. We're getting better.
And I think one thing you can talk about silly penalties where there's a hold on the opposite side of the field where the run's happening or something like that. Sure. The penalties I saw are effort penalties where you're trying to get to a guy, maybe you're there just a second after, and sometimes an official will let that go, and then sometimes the official will right on it. But that's what I kind of saw on those drives.
Yeah, the one that comes back to me was Judson Rowland. Coach Dollar had a great game plan. We brought the house, and then sometimes we dropped everybody into coverage. And I believe it was third and about 28, somewhere in there. I mean, it was a huge obstacle for them to overcome, and Coach Dollar dropped 8. We had Judson spying the quarterback, and quarterback kind of scrambled around, and he was Judson was honing in on him, and quarterback goes ahead and tries to throw the ball, which winded up being incomplete. But Judson jumped up and was trying to deflect the ball, and as his hands came down, it hit the quarterback in the helmet, and they called a personal foul on that, and it gave him an automatic first down. And that's on the same drive that I mentioned just a little bit earlier. So little things like that. Listen, you can never fault a kid for playing with great effort. Judson's trying to make a play on the ball, and his hand just comes down, and it wasn't malicious, it wasn't intended, but we still got him in we still nicked his helmet, which is a big emphasis this year on just protecting the quarterback and player safety, and so anyways, that gave them a first down and let them extend the drive. But I will never get upset at a player over just phenomenal effort, and that's what that was, and unfortunately they penalized us for it, but at the end of the day, our kids are playing hard, and I'm really proud of how they're playing.
And the way with Judson able to stay with the play, that's probably another reason why, if he doesn't hit the helmet, it's an incomplete pass, and it's 4th down and 20-something. So it's just kind of one of those things like, well, if he takes the play off a little bit, maybe that quarterback finds something.
No question. No question. Judson did exactly what we asked him to do, and really made a great play. Other than just the end of it, and that was hard to get penalized. But to all of our kids' credit, they're not at one head dropped in that moment, in that situation. Yep. We just play the next play, and you're starting to see the things, and that's what excites me more than anything about just as a head coach, when you see your players literally taking what you've just preached and tried to teach and have asked them to buy into and applying that, and not only applying it, but you hear them echoing the words that you're saying. I mean, you hear guys out there yelling, play the next play, encouraging their teammate when he could have been down on that situation. Yeah. And Judson's was not the only penalty. There were a lot of penalties on that drive, and several of them seemed to go against us, and they were able to extend that long drive there in the third quarter. But our kids just continue to play hard, and man, we died with our boots on Friday night. That is definitely a statement, a true statement about us. We fought to the very end, even all the way to that last offensive possession, just trying to throw the ball down the field. We're already got our onside unit over there ready to come on and in the event that we score, to try to kick an onside and make it more of a game. So, anyways, our kids played hard. That's basically the story of the night. Didn't turn out at the end in our favor, but I'm really proud of our effort.
We were too. Just watching it, just the way the kids were, and especially defensively. You have somebody third and 28, and then they get a penalty. There's kind of a confidence and a swagger about our defense that you kind of see. Like you said, no heads were dropped. Nobody said anything. It's like, get down to where the ball's going to be, and we're going to get a turnover. We're going to get them stopped. We've already stopped them a couple of times. We're going to do it again.
No question. And the defense has done that all year, man. They are really bought into just to doing their jobs, and it's 11 guys doing their job on every play, and we're seeing some great results. Our defense has played phenomenal all season.
I do want to talk about the field conditions. Being able to see, like, there was a lot of rain coming in at certain spots, and I kind of thought passing the ball would be a little tough. It didn't seem like that was anything, especially the running. You have Harvey go for 150. Yeah. Did the field conditions do anything to the game plan, or it's just as easy to play?
I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to just play football. Whatever, what the right play to help us be successful is the call we're going to make. Of course, in the passing game, I mean, I don't think either team threw the ball as much as we probably would on a normal night. But we were still able to throw the ball at times and be effective with it. We had some drops from our receiving core. That's something that we've got to continue to try to improve and be better at, just to keep those chains moving. Too many drops on the night, but with the weather the way it is, that's also hard to fault a kid that's just trying to make a play and a ball slipping through their hands. So the weather's always a factor. It was cold out there, I can tell you that, man. It was a cold and rainy night, but I wouldn't say that it affected our game plan very much, to be honest.
What's crazy, when we did our coach's show last Monday, it was showing 59 59 on Friday, and then it becomes like a 30-degree all rain out day. So
that will be a memorable game for sure for the season.
So whenever you're getting everything ready and you see the way that you've set up offensively, defensively, and then the way you play against Owasso, what are some of the things that, when you take away, like you had said, the coaches, everybody got together, what are some of the things you saw that you would like to fix, but that you saw that you guys said, guys, we're doing this really, really well?
Yeah, I mean, what we're doing really well is running the football right now. Our offensive line, again, I talked about them a little bit earlier, man. They proved on Friday night that they can be in the trenches with anyone. They're playing at a high level, moving bodies. I thought the pace of our offense was good for us. As it became an advantage as the game went on. You started to see our opponents kind of wear down a little bit, and we were able to get some bigger chunk plays as the game went on. But that's something we're doing really well, is just playing hard up front. Both sides, man. Our defensive line, early in the game, they actually hit some on us, and and got a little bit of movement. Man, Gescheidel, Christian Rowland, who's the younger brother of Judson, getting to play a lot. Jet Woodward, those guys in the interior of our defensive line really bowed up and really held their own throughout the course of the night. So I feel like we're in a good place conditioning-wise, and our kids are just still. We lift every week throughout the course of the season, a couple of times a week, and we're still improving in our strength even at this point in the season as the year goes on. I think that's one of the reasons that we're still as a program really healthy right now, which is a good thing going in. So those are some things we're doing well. And then again, just penalties is something we can continue to get better at.
I will say, since you had brought up Owasso's, I think their quarterback's very good. I think Overstreet, the running back, is good, but they have that tight end, Mario Kirby, that big tight end that they'll use as a running back.
Yeah.
And it seemed at the very first he was getting some yards, but then the defensive line buckled down and kind of figured out where they needed to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say this: they knew that they were in a ball game all night long. Man, our kids hit them and hit them hard, and had some great tackles against them. So they are a phenomenal football team, and a ton of credit to the other Coach Blankenship, Bill and his staff. They did a great job, had a great game plan, and their kids always played hard, and it was really a great test for where we are as a program. And listen, I think we're ahead of where even I expected us to be at this point in the year, and our kids are playing at a high level. So again, the future is right there in our hands. It's great to be going into week 9 and still control your destiny. We've got an opportunity to be in the playoffs, and even more than that, an opportunity to host a home playoff game if we will just continue to get better and be able to come out on top on a couple of games on the scoreboard.
We got PC North coming up Friday. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, I want to talk about that and talk a little more about getting that first playoff game, because you got 2 more games left.
Yep.
So, all right,
good.
we're going to take a break, and we'll come back after this and talk more with Coach Blankenship.
Is your home's roof storm damaged? Let TRS Incorporated, the roof specialists, do a free roofing inspection for you. We are the insurance claim specialists, and we can handle everything from meeting your adjuster to securing final payment from your insurance company. All of our outstandingly beautiful roofs come with a 5-year guarantee, and you'll pay nothing until the job is complete. Visit 682roof.com to find out more.
I'm Rick Hines, owner of TRS Incorporated. Let us come out and show you why we are the roof specialists.
Hey, 6th to 12th graders. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into. If you're looking for a place to connect, if you're looking for answers, if you're in need of some encouragement or just looking for a friend, come on over and join us at First Baptist Mustang on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're a place for you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck here with Lee Blankenship, coach of the Mustang Broncos. Coach, we've talked about a really good game against Owasso. A lot of positives that come from it. Didn't get the win, but now you kind of control your own destiny.
Yeah.
PC North coming this week. You said they're an athletic team.
Absolutely. So we've got PC North going to their place this Friday night, 7 p.m. They've got a brand new stadium, so we're excited to see that and go get to play in a good facility, which is awesome. Man, they're really athletic. They've got great quarterback who does a good job. He kind of looks like Michael Vick back there, to be honest with you. His release is really similar to he reminds me of kind of a young Vick. He runs it really well. He looks really smooth when he scrambles and obviously can't get inside of his head, but his body language shows a kid that doesn't really get rattled in the situation that situations of the game. So we've got our hands cut out for us. We've got to play really well defensively to try to contain him. He's got some weapons to throw the ball to and to hand the ball to as well. So need a big night. Defensive line's going to have another big night to get some pressure on him, and then outside linebackers and being able to contain him as well. offensively, defensively, they do a good job of using their athleticism to their advantage. So we are going to expect them to load the box against us, try to force us to throw it a little bit. So we need our receivers to really step up and have a big night, catching the football and Hayden and throwing the football, reading that coverage and making some plays on that side of the game as well in the pass game.
Now defensively, the quarterback from Owasso, not really a big runner, but he had some good runs in the game. So you think to yourself, is it a little bit tougher to prepare for a dual threat quarterback, or do you think to yourself like, look, they're going to have to pass it, they're going to have to run it. That's the part of the game. It's the same.
You know, I don't know if it's a little bit tougher. The game plan changes just a little bit when you have a guy that has that poses a threat to run the football like this one will. But I don't know if it's tougher. It's different in preparing. You got to have disciplined kids and then really more than anything, you got to be great tacklers in the open field. When that kid gets away, our guys have got to be able to not only track him down, but when they get their hands on him, bring him down.
That's one of the things, and I'm glad you brought this up. That is one of the things I see in college football the last few years. It's a lot of people just putting their shoulder down trying to tackle people, and most people bounce off. With Mustang's defense, and I'm sure this is a credit to you guys and Coach Dollar, but if they get a hand on somebody, they usually wrap them up and bring them down.
Yeah.
You see that all year.
Coach Dollar teaches tackling every week, and we have a tackling circuit that we do every week, and just the drills, the ideas that he has about tackling, and just watching those drills and how they correlate and translate to what we're doing on the field on Friday night is pretty big time. But yeah, our defensive staff does just an excellent job of getting our kids ready to tackle. There's an art in tackling, and then even more so in tackling and doing it the safe and the right way. And that is definitely something that's been stressed all year long. And you're right, man. When our kids get their hands on you, you're usually not breaking out of it. So they do a good job on that side, most definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad you had mentioned that, because I say it every week that I'm watching the games. I always think to myself, I always see these kids just go in, get back, a running back bounce a safety off or something, but not ours. They might go for a couple more yards, but you're not really getting away. They do a great job of it.
No question. Our staff does a great job of just teaching that, and it's more, tackling isn't just run, grab, hold the guy. There's a technique and there's an art to it, and that gets taught in a really highly effective way every week.